that this is the solution to.
Yeah.
If we really are saying that we've got a whole pile of stock that we're going to replace, and most of it's privatised, then how is a state-based manufacturing system going to sell these things? Why would they buy them?
Yeah.
When you look at what they do now, which is they go to the states generally and say, thanks very much, yes, I'll take this loco, which is 2, 3, 4 years old. There's a place in Europe, at least one place in Europe, that was refurbishing locos, so they did some and exported them here.
Yep.
America does it too. And if we're going to manufacture things, we're probably not going to manufacture the engines.
Yeah.
So we import the engines. Okay, fine. And years ago, I went to Clyde Engineering in Sydney, and they were doing finite element analysis of a frame for I think it was a General Motors diesel, to reconfigure the frame so that it would fit, so that the engine, the machinery, would fit into the Australian loading gauge. So their problem was that the way Americans built locos was that they took a piece of 3-inch plate and they cut out the shape of the loco in plan on it.
Yeah.
They bored a few holes in it. They stuck bogies underneath it.
Yeah.
They stuck the diesel on the top. They put a metal cover over the whole lot, and there was your loco.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, the problem with that is that by the time you put the engine in, it's too big for the Australian loading gauge. So what they did was they built a space frame that lowered the engine in the middle.
Yeah.
The motor in the middle.
Yeah.
To fit in the space frame, and they were doing the finite element analysis at that stage. It's 30 years ago. To see what the stresses were. So I found it really interesting. The first time I've ever really seen that used in design, and it's a form of experimental maths.
Yeah.
In that you build this frame out of struts, and you say, right, you're going to do all that, and then you say to the computer, right, put the diesel on it and tell me what the loads are. So it does that, and it draws you a pretty picture of the space frame, and everything that's red is overstressed.
Yeah.
So you go, oh, okay, that's no good. So rather than going around and calculating this stuff, because you can't, it's not a deterministic method of calculating. You just go, oh, well, let's make the red things thicker. So you make the red things thicker, and that transfers the load somewhere, and eventually you get to the stage where most things are green and a few things are a bit yellow.
Yeah.
And you might go, that's good enough.
That's close enough. We'll live with that.
Yeah. So, yes, it'd be great if you could do that, and we have the knowledge how to do that stuff, because we do major refurbishments in Australia.
Yeah.
And it's not, if you're buying the diesels in, then the difference between that and the refurbishment is fuck all.
Yeah.
Because they do things like pick up diesels that have been flooded, diesels that have been turned over. Like, that one in Western Australia, that train, those locomotives won't be in the best of nick.
Yeah.
But you could rebuild them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, for me, the issue is long term. If we're actually in a rolling build doing the stuff, it might make quite a bit of sense to just replace a little bit of stuff.
No, I'd have no problem with it if that's what was going on.
Yeah.
My difficulty is with the government. One of the problems I had with Scott Morrison is he's got all this direct action. I'm saying, okay, so let me see if I've got this right. You haven't got a clue what you're doing. You've got a demonstrated history of not being able to deliver on projects.
Yeah.